Hi, everybody. Hmm. Welcome to Monday evening here at Healing with Marcus. We sit here every week, every Monday at 7 p.m. And if you find that you feel attracted to this message, or if you find that you want to sit in this space every week, make sure you click subscribe and like, and potentially the bell that will notify you every time I go live, or any videos that are coming out. But usually, at the moment, I'm mostly posting live videos once a week. Um, I'm hoping to post more soon, but there is only so much we can do in a week. So hmm, hmm, here we are. Welcome on board. Welcome to our moments of inner reflection, spiritual growth, and inner centeredness, inner stillness. Ellie Kay, there you are, my dear sister. It's lovely to see you here. People are going to think you're my real sister. We're sister and brother in spirit. And we've been following each other for quite a few years now. And it's very lovely to have follow your fellow trudgers, fellow spiritual wanderers here. So, as we embark on a spiritual journey, there are many levels of awareness and of growth, and almost like that. There used to be, I was a part of a 12-step fellowship before. I left many years ago, but I was there for quite a few years as well. And we used to talk about peeling the onion, all these layers of kindred souls. That's right, LEK. Um, there used to be this talk about the onion, right? The layers of the onion, and that there are many layers of the onion. And often when we peel one layer, it feels like, oh God, yes, I have arrived. And fairly soon you will see that there's another layer to sit with, to start becoming the watcher of, to learn how to dissolve, to grow through, so we can shed that layer and grow into our next transformation and our next transformation. Um, for many of us, I believe, at least for myself, there's been many timeline shifts in my life. And there's been many times when, for a while, I've been on a spiritual journey, then I fell off, then I came back on a spiritual journey, then I fell off. But over the last like 13, 14 years, that's become more and more consistent. And slowly it's become very consistent. And then over the last few years, it has been enormously consistent. And it's beautiful to see how, as we become more consistent on our journey with the meditation, with our inner sits, with sitting with yourself, and beginning to recognize yourself, the growth, we grow exponentially. And sometimes when I look around on our healing community and the different forms of spirituality that's coming out. Some is very old school, and some is more new agey, and some is more maybe therapeutic in nature. And when we look around, we see that everybody's on their journey. Every single healer out there, and every single person who follows a healer or watches their content, we're all on a journey. And at times we also then start to look at ourselves in a different light. When we are able, on one level, we can look at boundaries, we can look at spiritual, healthy boundaries, which are, as we come into ourselves and we begin to see the patterns in our lives, you can see certain patterns that have been following you through your life. You may be starting to see and recognize that it might still be going on, that some of those patterns are deeply rooted in who we think we are. Because often the ego will find new things to identify with. And as we go into the deepening healing journey, it's easy to find, well, I was traumatized, so now I'm a traumatized person, or whatever these layers are. I'm angry from my childhood, so now I'm angry as a grown up. And maybe before we thought we were all love and kindness. And then as we go through these layers, we start to see them more clearly. And what that also requires is a deepening sense of honesty. It's a deepening sense of self-honesty and honesty with the world as well. Of course, that can be a little bit of a labyrinth to maneuver through, because our honesty doesn't have to mean that we don't have boundaries. And it doesn't have to mean that we have to share ourselves with the whole world all the time. That can also, of course, be a lack of boundaries, right? But it does require us to be very honest with ourselves, with how we're feeling about things, how we are relating to life and to ourselves. To be honest, when is my inner voice, my inner critic, is it getting the best of me? Is it running the show again today? Is my inner critic being activated, or am I sitting in my inner stillness? And all this is part of that the growth journey that we're on. And it's very important to move towards as deep level of honesty as you can muster. Because here's a little thought for you. What if the whole world could be honest? What if every layer of our society just had a built-in sense of honesty? What if, when you were a kid, your parents were able to be honest with their feelings, where they were in their lives, and with you, so that when you spoke to them, you felt authentic? You felt that you were getting an authentic answer, which made you able to connect deeper, authentically into yourself. This is actually interesting. This is why, when if I sit with parents, if I sit in healing session with parents, many parents may want their kids to change. They might say that there's something wrong, they're on medication, something's going on with the child, and that we need to change the child, or we need to change something for the child. But what we really need to shift is our own inner frequency. So we can sit in that deeper frequency of honesty, of reality, of a sense of authenticity, and of real, heartfelt love and acceptance. Because as you move into that space and you become more anchored into yourself, it becomes so much easier to, to become stronger. That anchoring into the deeper self makes you stronger in your energy field. This will make other people around you and children react differently to you. So they will feel a sense of security and a sense of safety, because you're being authentic and you're being your real, true self. And as we move into that space and we begin to recognize, what behaviors do I have that keep me from being my authentic self? Where am I still seeking attention, or feelings of feeling like, how, where am I still being sort of addicted, right? When we look deeply at many things, there's an addictive quality even behind getting likes on the different social media, or getting attention from different people. There's an addictive quality in it. So even though we may not be addicted, you may not be addicted to a substance, to alcohol, to something else, or have a dysfunctional relationship to food, there may still be levels in your life where we can look at, that we can help to shift. So the deeper honesty we sit in, the deeper we resonate out into the world. And that goes also for like, because on one level, this is more of a societal kind of idea. But what if all the corporations out there, they were just honest? Even in their advertising, they either had to be honest or they just were. So they weren't trying to sell us on lies. They weren't trying to say something that wasn't true. Or the politicians aren't trying to put each other down. They're only talking about their experience, who they are, where they're coming from. What if we could have that deep sense of honesty so we could trust society, so we could trust the world? And of course, it starts with your own self trust, right? It starts within yourself. As you begin to trust that sense of life that is coming through us within our bodies, within our lives, and you begin to recognize that what's running your life, what's running inside of you, your energy, is life force energy. And we begin to trust that process. We begin to trust that we are connected to spirit, that we are deeply engrossed, ingrained with the fabric of life itself. So we don't have to people please anyone. We don't have to construe an untruth. We can communicate our truth and take in other people's truth. When we start to communicate differently like that, well, first of all, your life will change, but so will the lives of the people around you. So as you start growing deeper and more, the children around you, your children, will grow as well. And you become a safe beacon for them to come to. And over time, they learn that sense of honesty from you. So, healthy boundaries means we don't have to share everything about ourselves everywhere we go. But we do have to be authentic to ourselves. And as we start sitting with, like these are questions you can ask yourself. You can ask, did I overreact in that situation? Was I being triggered by what somebody said, by that person cutting me off on the freeway? Was I being triggered? Was I in a state of anger? Was I in a state of negativity or fear? Was I in a state of dishonesty, which is always based in fear of not being good enough? Was I in any one of those states? And as you sit deeper with the meditation, you start to feel safe in your meditation practice. And as that becomes more of a safe haven, it becomes easier to be fully authentic. It's, of course, extremely difficult to be authentic if we still think that we're not good enough. If we still feel that, well, if I say the truth, they're all going to reject me. That's, of course, difficult. But if you start finding a space of yourself, self-acceptance, and you're like, wait a second. So if I'm honest with myself, it becomes a lot easier to be honest with the rest of the world. And it is a beautiful part of this journey, but it seems to be a little bit forgotten. It's so much easier to point the finger that it's the other person that has the problem. And of course, sometimes other people are tricky for us to be around, but it still comes down to a level of self-honesty when we look at ourselves and our situation. So this is how we dive deep. We dive deep into ourselves, into layers of consciousness, layers of awareness that over time will reveal more and more deep inner truths to yourself. A lot like when you dive deeper into yourself, you start to recognize and realize what is really happening. What is really going on? And as we start to recognize this, it becomes easier to become one with the world, because you know your deepest truth, and then you realize that we're all carrying different levels of truths. But when you get deep into your truth, it's almost like that idea of like love recognizing love, light recognizing light. That when you come deepest into your inner space, not on the level of defenses, not on the level of triggers and traumas, but the deeper level, and you begin to recognize that you are light and love in your heart, that the eternal light that you are is also what we call love, and that energy is the only truly creative force in our world. It's the only truly upbuilding energy in our world, because it keeps creating more of itself. Either it's between two humans creating more life, or it's just the tree growing more into this world, dropping new seeds, new acorns, or you creating a project, you creating something that's adding to the experience of life itself. You're creating your herbs, LK. You're creating tea. You're creating incense. You're creating paintings. You're creating songs. You're creating healing settings. You're creating, you're a dentist. You're healing people's teeth. You're a doctor. You're helping people to heal physically. You're a car mechanic. You're helping people to heal their cars. You are standing at the conveyor belt. You are helping to create whatever the product is that you're helping to create. And it may not seem super creative on the individual level, but it really is. We just don't always recognize it. But looking at a skyscraper, the person who's building the forms for the concrete or the person who's tying the steel is as much part of that process as anyone else on that train of how they built the skyscraper. They're part of creating something. So when we start looking at the true nature of life, it's a very creative force. And as we align with that force, we begin to recognize that we are part of that creation as well. A living creation, a creation that's happening all the time. And this takes us to that last part of this. One of the things, looking at the world, either holistically or what we call a shamanic point of view, in shamanism, often, and I don't like using that term because there's so many different versions of shamans in our world. There's so many different schools of thought. But most commonly, in the shamanic view of the world, we are not passive bystanders of the creation of our lives. We are not passive bystanders on the creation of the world. We are active participants, either in our own healing process or in healing others or in building that skyscraper or in creating the world. We are active participants. And we are living in a society where everything in their power is being done so we can feel powerless. So we won't understand and remember the true power of our creation. That in truth, when you sit in a deep inner space, you begin to, first, you change your awareness, your vibration in your system, and slowly you start to change the field around you. It actually happens very quickly, but it feels slowly. So as you change your inner vibration, that changes the imprint you put on this world. Basically, we're living in you could call it an electromagnetic or electromagnetic field. And as you change your vibration by feeling better, by feeling different, by acting differently, acting more in accordance to your inner value system, your inner sense of honor and integrity and awareness and alignment, as you start to honor that and you vibrate differently, the imprint you give on the field changes. The imprint you put onto the field becomes very different. And it's a very beautiful process. This is how we grow. And this is also how we end up creating what they call heaven on earth. As we grow within, that puts a different imprint on the world. And when we reach a critical mass of enough people who have found their spiritual healing journey, enough people who have developed a meditation practice, who have developed some sort of inner conviction of their own inner value, their intrinsic worth as a human being, as a spiritual being in a human body, we start to experience and realize our true value, true worth. And when you vibrate in that field of true worth, you shift the field around you, and people feel it. And they begin to shift their frequencies. So when enough of us have gone into that space, we are starting to affect the field more and more and more. And at some point, the field doesn't have an option but to shift. It's like we're setting a new tone. So if you're sitting in your inner love and you begin to feel it, you begin to flow, it flows through you, based in having healthy boundaries, based in being honest with yourself and the world. You start to flow out into the world. Your energy flows out into the world. And more people around us are going to become more honest and more real. And more the field is going to shift. And there's been waves of awareness happening throughout the years, throughout the millennia. There was a wave of awakening happening in the 1950s and 60s. Mahatma Gandhi and Paramahansa Yogananda and Sri Ramana Maharshi, John Lennon, the Beatles were contributing a lot. Many different musicians were contributing a lot to a heightened sense of awareness. And that was a wave of awareness coming into our world. And it sort of got a little bit squandered through the 80s, 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s. But it is coming back. And this wave is bigger. It's almost like a tsunami of awakening. And as more and more people awaken, it's going to get tougher and tougher for other people to stay within their dark stuff. It's going to be harder for them not to see that they're off track. And we could make a comparison to if you have a whole bar full of people who are abusing alcohol and they're all feeling, well, we're drinking. That's all you can do on a Friday and Saturday. All you can do in the evenings after work, go and drink and get drunk. That's all you can do. And if you have one person, either at the bar or somewhere around, that's changing their mind and they're changing into a healthier frequency and they stop that party scene, the rest of the 19 that are left out of the 20 can keep going and saying that one person is just crazy. But suddenly you have 2 or 3 or 4 of the people who are abusing their alcohol who leave that sphere. And at some point, the people who are left don't have another option but to see and look at themselves and be like, oh, maybe there's something to them shifting their vibration. This is the truth, right? Like when you begin to speak your deeper truth and you sit in your inner love, you affect the field differently. And more people who do that, it's going to be harder and harder for the world to live in denial. It's going to be more and more difficult for the rest of the world to not see that there is a different way of life, that there is a more healthy way of life, that there is more love in this world than we have been taught or that we believed. So as you grow on your spiritual journey, you're affecting the field more and more. And when we grow deeper, we start to recognize that, wait a second, I have agency over my life. This is where the shamanic point of view comes in that I mentioned earlier. Because in the West, we have always been kind of, in America, you're told you can be anything you want, and you're told that, but there's also very many forces that are counteracting that, right? We know the grades in the school. We know that you have to fit into the system. We know you have to be liked by your teachers, by your boss, by your parents, by everybody around you in order for you to keep developing a successful life. Meaning you have to be very much engrossed in the system. We can also call it the matrix in order for you to succeed. But the more people who step out of the system, step outside of that paradigm and create their own paradigm, the more easier it is for other people to see and hear it. It's like you become a beacon of light. And at some point, the people around you, your neighbors and the people around you, are going to be like, oh my God, what's that light over there? How come that person is shining so bright? I wonder what they're doing. Because I don't feel like I'm shining very bright. This is how what they call truth travels, right? This is how a higher frequency, a higher vibration makes its way into people's minds and worlds and lives. So, as you and I embark on this healing journey, and we realize that we're not just passive bystanders, we are actually active participants in our own lives. That we are creating our own lives by our perception, that we are creating our lives based in how we look at ourselves and our relationship to the world. And as we come into I need to right relation with the world and ourselves, suddenly we start to understand that we're not just passive bystanders, that our actions and thoughts and emotions and intentions are affecting the field we're living in. It's a beautiful experience. And the more of us who wake up, the stronger that imprint gets on the world. Yes. It's very beautiful. I'm so grateful you're here. It's very nice. It's a beautiful journey we're on, just of growth, just of growing into a likeness of our higher self, your highest potential as a human being. Not a human doing, a human being. Nothing wrong with doing things. But when we do them from that inner stress, we think we're going to be better being by doing. But you're just going to be a better human being by being. So, thank you, Elike. We are going to move into the next part of this live. We're going to do our healing ceremony. And what I would like to encourage you today is that as we go into the session, into the healing part, look at how you can create agency in your own life. How can you heal your root and sacral chakra so that you can feel a bit more stable? Because when we feel more stable, it becomes a lot easier to think, oh, I can do this or that. I would like to create a good intention for my life. I would like to create an intention based in light, based in love. And I want to live from that intention, with that intention. The more intentional we get with our lives, the stronger the imprint gets. And the easier it is to form reality to your desires, to your wishes. It's beautiful. So, as we go into this, I'd encourage you to hold yourself in light. Feel how these vibrations, these words, these sounds move their way into you and help you raise your awareness. All right. With your permission, we'll work on your energy field and in your energy. Oi, 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 ay, 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 ay. 太陽よ答えや。太陽よ答えや。太陽、太陽、太陽、太陽。はい。太陽。太陽、わいという太陽。太陽、太陽、太陽、太陽、わいという太陽。太陽、わいという太陽。わいという太陽。わい。太陽。太陽、わい太陽。太陽、わい太陽。太陽、太陽、太陽、太陽。太陽よよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよえよ。太陽。太陽よよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよYeah. Deo, yo, 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 とたいや。てよよとたいや。てよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよよはい。おいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいおいお Oh, Tadeya. Toyo, 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 toyo. Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Satchidananda Murataye Nishprapanchaya Shantaya Niralambaya Tejase Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Satchidananda Murataye Nishprapanchaya Shantaya Niralambaya Tejase Om Namah Shivaya Gurave Satchidananda Murataye Nishprapanchaya Shantaya Niralambaya Tejase Deo, why, Deo, Deo. Welcome into the room, everyone. Welcome back. I hope you had a beautiful experience. I hope you had a beautiful spiritual inner experience with releases and sitting in your light, feeling your power in your life force energy, feeling into your root chakra and your sacral chakra, feeling into your heart, into your solar plexus, aligning all this with your higher self, finding an alignment with life itself, life's desire for your highest purpose. Tawa Teo, Koko Taya Teo. I'm so grateful that we get to share these moments. Feel free to click like and subscribe. Share if you feel like that, or press the little bell so you get an advertisement when I go online. Yeah. We're so grateful we get to share this journey with you. We're so grateful. We wish you a lovely, amazing week. We're going to say namaste and aho. Have a beautiful week, everyone. Bye, LEK. Bye, Johnny Neal. Bye, everybody who's on here. See you soon.